Hi everybody, Renee here from Free Motion Mastery in a Month, and in this video today I'm going to show you my complete mobile sewing studio. And as you know, I travel a lot from place to place. I'm on the road teaching and doing shows, more than I'm at home these days, and so I really need to take with me everything that I need to keep my quilting life and my business life going. And so this case right here is my mobile sewing studio, and I'm going to take it inside and show you what's in there. It really is everything I need to be able to just continue my sewing life any place I want to go. This is a scrapbooking case that my sister gave me because she stopped scrapbooking, and it's about 18 inches in every direction. It's about an 18-inch cube, and everything that I need is in here. So let's take it inside and I'll unpack. So I'm just going to use this little ribbon and hold the lid open against the lid. And then the first thing I'm going to take out here is my Handy Caddy. Okay. I wanted a case that would let me have everything organized and make it easy to just pop it out and stand it up with everything I needed in it, and this does the trick. Later on in the video, when I have everything out of the case, I will show you everything that's in here. But for now, I love this because it literally has everything I need, and I can just pop it onto the tabletop. All right, the next thing I'm going to pull out of here is the project that I'm currently working on. This is a t-shirt quilt for a friend, and it kind of serves as padding around the sewing machine. Here's some extra pieces of fabric that are going to go to that, and that's in there as padding as well. Shove that over there for right now. Then I have my wool sewing mat from Oliso. Sorry, my wool pressing mat from Oliso. And this is the brand new updated M3 Pro project iron from Oliso. I love this thing. It's hot enough to do fusing. I love the little heat protector plate underneath it. Heats up in a jiff, and it even has, this new one even has a light on the front. So that's going to go right there. Let's push that over a little bit. My next favorite thing in here is, this is brand new and I am so excited about it. It's a puzzle mat. So it comes, this little pack has 6 of these pieces. You can snap them together in any configuration you want, anywhere up to 36 by 24. And then along with this, the mats are made by Cottage Mills. The ruler, I found a folding ruler, and it actually just fits in the pouch with the mat. This is from TQM Products, and as you can see, it goes out to a full 6.5 inches by 24 inches, and I can use it either folded or open right there on my mat. Right here in the lid, I have 2 very important things. An extension cord, because sometimes you just need one, and this is the cord to the sewing machine. Okay, here is the foot pedal for my sewing machine, and I just pack it in some batting or some fabric or whatever so it stays padded when I stick it inside the arm of the sewing machine. So that's going to go down here on the floor. And then the sewing machine, it fits in here perfectly, is my BERNINA 440. Of all the machines I've ever owned, this one is my favorite. I like the older bobbin system, and although it's a smaller machine, as you can see, a bigger machine just would not fit in my case. So this is my BERNINA 440, and then here in the outside pocket I have the extension table, very important, and the instruction manuals for the machine, because you never want to be without your instruction manual. Okay, and that is everything from here inside the case. And Now I'm going to go tabletop and show you everything I have inside my Handy Caddy. Okay, so here is everything that is in my Handy Caddy. In no particular order, I'm just going to go pocket by pocket and show you the things that I can't live without for my sewing studio. So, pocket number 1, I have measuring tape and needle case and thimble for hand sewing. Pocket number 2 is my rotary cutter and a spare blade. I love Kai's blades. I love their scissors too. They stay sharp way, way long. I can't tell you if it's longer than any other manufacturer, but I just know they're really sharp and I love them. Pocket number 3 has my seam roller. I use this many times instead of an iron. I sell them on my website. Can't live without them. I love, love, love my seam roller. And because you never know when you're going to need to just take a little rough edge off your nails, so there's a nail file. In this pocket are all my pens and pencils and marking tools. And I say that because one of the marking tools I have in this is a little bar of soap, great for marking on dark colored fabrics. I have highlighters, which I use when I'm doing foundation piece spirals. I have a blue water-soluble marker. One is a pencil, one is an ink kind. I have my Boheen, it's a ceramic wax lead marker, and I really like it because it's a mechanical pencil, which means my lines always stay consistently the same width. Then I have a regular pencil, regular pen for writing things, and a Sharpie. And I suppose I could throw in a regular pencil in there too, but I don't have one in there right now. Okay, going around to the other side. And you know, over time I kind of rearrange things depending on how convenient they are to the position they are when I need them. So anyway, here are my Kai dressmaker scissors. This is the 8-inch model, I think. I love these. Kai, like I said earlier, I think Kai scissors are the best on the market, and they're very reasonably priced to boot. So those are my big scissors. And then the next pocket over, I have little scissors. And it may wonder why I have so many different varieties of scissors, but each one plays a special role. This one is Karen K. Buckley's little tiny scissors. I like these because the points are very sharp. And sometimes you just need to get into a corner and do a really sharp point. So those are those. And then these, also from Kai, are my offset embroidery scissors. And I like these because the offset makes it very easy to get down and trim threads right against the surface of a quilt or against the surface of foundation piecing. And when I'm doing that, I actually want see if I can get this to sharp. I want a blunt tip on those. So these have a blunt tip. They're a blunt tip offset scissor. And then I have the little case to go on those. And then I also have this little clip-on case that I got from Handy Quilter a long time ago. And that's just really nice to clip my scissors to my collar whenever I want to keep them handy. Okay, next pocket over has my add a quarter ruler. And in here, I'm going to pull this out of the center. This is the card that came with my add a quarter ruler many, many years ago. As you can see, it's been loved a lot. But when I'm doing my spiral piecing, I have these little notes on there to remind me not to cut on the wrong line. And this is my add a quarter ruler. If you haven't used one of these before, it has a little 1/4 inch ridge here that is for helping you trim a perfect 1/4 inch seam allowance. The other thing that's in the pocket with this are my Taylor Seville pens. I discovered these years ago and I really like them. They now make them in about 20 different varieties. I just love that these are nice and long and sharp. They're very strong shaft. And this little grippy head on them is really, really nice to use. I just dropped one on the floor. Let me pick it up before I step on it. Hello, where'd you go? All right, I just have to be careful and not step on it. So those are my Taylor Seville pins. Last little pocket over here. I have, and there's one little thing I want to add to this that I don't have here. I want to get a little, come on, tried to get out. Ah, my ring is stuck. Ah, okay. There we go. Okay. Big seam ripper, little seam ripper. You know, you never want to be up without one of these, so having two isn't such a bad thing. Another thing that I use my seam rippers for is I use them in place of a stiletto, so you can use this tip to just push fabric under your needle and use them like a stiletto. I use that in place of using a walking foot. I also have a Q-tip, which is looking a little shredded here, but this is sometimes helpful for getting in to your bobbin race and scooping out little bits of fluff. This is where I want to add my little bobbin case cleaning brush that comes with many machines. That should go in that little pocket as well. And this little gizmo is, come on, focus. It's a finger light. And I just find that this is so handy for looking into those little nooks and crannies of your machine or wherever else you need to look when you're doing projects. It's also really nice to just clip it on your finger and it puts the light right where you need it when you're doing handwork. So that's nice. Maybe I should keep that in my handwork pocket over there. All right, what's next? Let's see. The Handy Caddy comes with this case. You can stick whatever you want in it. I don't have anything in it right now, but I'm sure one of these days I will come up with something for it. I have my Swan Amity quilting gloves. These are the only gloves I like because they have these wonderful pillows here that keep your hands relaxed and slightly curved, even when you're doing, when you have your hand in position on your fabric. So those are super nice gloves. Let's see. I have several different kinds of threads. So this little baggie kind of has my standard threads. I'm realizing right now I don't have any white thread in there, so I should probably add some white thread. But in addition to that, I have these 3 cones of thread. I mean, this Handy Caddy is so big you can actually put cones of thread in there and they don't take up all the space. So this thread right here is Bottom Line from Superior Threads. Come on, get into focus. Let me see if I can get this there. Put my hand there. Okay, this is Bottom Line from Superior Threads. It's a 60 weight tri-lobal polyester. The color is silver, number 623. I use this thread for almost everything. I piece with it. I use it as a backing thread for bobbins if I'm not going to see the back of my quilt. I love it for stitch in the ditch. I finish bindings with it. It blends into everything except the very, very darkest of fabrics. It is my go-to thread for practically everything that I do. So that's why it's so nice to have that in here, because if you're going to have a small space, you want to be as multi-purpose as you possibly can with your tools, and this thread is a super multi-purpose thread. This cone of thread is in there right now because it's the thread that I'm using to quilt the project that I showed you earlier. And this cone of thread is in there because I can't live without gold thread. You know, the last t-shirt quilt I did, I used an entire cone of this stuff. This is also from Superior Threads. It is, oh, it doesn't have the, say, it's either Magnifico or Fantastico. I can never remember which one is variegated and which one's, oh, maybe it's up here on the top. It is Magnifico. Okay, it's Magnifico. And the last thread I used here, the variegated one, was Fantastico. Okay, so Magnifico is the solid and Fantastico is the variegated. They're both 40 weight tri-lobal polyesters. They're really strong to work with. They have a little bit of shine that just kind of adds a little bit of bling to the surface of your quilt. I really love working with these threads for quilting. Okay, this little box here has, what does it have in it? My handy clips. And I'm about to start trying out a new one that I just heard about from Taylor Seville, so I'll tell you more about those in another video. But these are just really nice. You know, sometimes your project is too thick for pins, especially when I'm doing my quilt as you go with putting quilted pieces together. So the handy clips come in super nice as a replacement for pins. Put these right down there. And then there's another little box, 2 more little boxes in here. This little box, if you can believe it, has sewing machine feet, sewing machine needles, and sewing machine oil, all in one tiny little box like that. And then I have my grippy pads. Now sometimes I use these instead of gloves, to put underneath my fingers when I'm quilting. Sometimes I use them under rulers to keep them from slipping. Sometimes well, there's other things you can use them for, but I just find that these are kind of a multi-purpose tool that I can use over and over and over in many, many situations. So I just have, 4 or 5 of those in there for whenever I need them. This little box here, this is one of the things I miss about film photography. You used to get slides in these boxes, these wonderful plastic boxes that were so useful for so many things. This just carries my bobbins. And one of the things I have with my bobbins are these little pieces of, little pieces of clear tubing, clear vinyl tubing. And what I do is I take those and I snap them around the bobbin like that, and they keep the thread from unwinding off of the bobbin. I have some big ones and some littler ones, and it's so nice to have those and not have your bobbin case end up a big tangled mess of thread. So those are my bobbins. And last, let's see, I have 3 kinds of tape. I use tape a lot instead of pins. So I use the Scotch Permanent double-sided tape. I use this a lot of times to to stick templates to my fabric so that they stay in place and I can cut them exactly the way I want them. I use this a lot when I'm doing foundation piecing. And then a roll of Scotch tape, because you just never know when you're going to need it, right? And then I have a roll of blue painter's tape, because often I'll use this with foundation piecing instead of pins. And there's just a lot of other times when I use it. It's just one of those things that I use for a million different things. So I think that's everything in my Handy Caddy. And I think the only thing I would add to that, like I said earlier, is I'd like to bring in my little brush for cleaning up my bobbin case. And I'm looking forward to trying out the new Taylor Seville clips. And I need to add just a regular old pencil. But all of that fits into that tiny little case. It folds up tight and goes into my sewing machine, into my case with my sewing machine. And now you know everything that I have in my whole mobile studio. And I can set up and sew anywhere in record time. So the last thing I'm going to do here is show you, just put everything back in the Handy Caddy quilter case, and off we go to quilt.